What's up, guys? We are back today with another video, and today we have an interesting topic, and we're going to discuss an influencer named Dan Coe. And if you are not familiar with Dan, he is a writer, but also an influencer, and he's been growing rapidly on YouTube lately. He's got a lot of ideas that are very interesting. It's almost like he's combined ideas from self-help, entrepreneurship, being able to use the digital world that we live in to your advantage, and also spirituality and topics that I'm all interested in and I have all studied in one way or another. He talks about being your own business, being a one-person business, and I think it relates to what we discuss on this channel a lot, because we're in the business on this channel of becoming the best versions that we can be, and we have to utilize the tools that we are in. We are in the year 2023 now. We live in a digital age, and being able to utilize the tools that we need in order to succeed and create the results that we want in our life is going to depend on our ability to live with the times and be up to speed on the available resources that we have at our disposal. So with that being said, I want to start off by saying, regardless of whatever you're trying to create in your life, whether you're trying to create business success, relationship success, most things that require, most of these things, whether they're big changes and big improvements that are worth pursuing, require the help of other people. Most things you are not going to be able to do by yourself. Whether you're training to be an athlete, whether you are building a business, you need to work with other people. You need a manufacturer. Let's say that you're building a clothing brand. Let's say that you're training, like I said, for the Olympics or any sort of physical pursuit. You need a coach. You need somebody keeping you accountable. And so a lot of our success hinges on our relationships, our ability to cultivate and maintain relationships with others, and be somebody that is good, has good communication, and somebody that you can depend upon, and somebody that is effective in the realm of social skills, relationships, all of that jazz. So with that being said, as a start to this, we are going to discuss what Dan Coe outlines as the one-person business model, how to productize yourself, and how he discusses how the niche in this age that we live in, he says the niche now is you, because you are a unique individual. And whatever it is that you're doing, my partner, Devin, has been we've been making these cooking reels, but she just got a new job, and her hiring manager was extremely impressed, and everybody's been extremely impressed by her Instagram reels. The reels on her Instagram, which are her coming up with recipes, healthy recipes, original recipes, her ability to cook, her presentation, all of that. And she's been growing on social media and getting a following, and a lot of actually the brands that we use ingredients by, like Kevin's Natural Foods, for example, we'll tag these different various brands in the posts, and a lot of them have actually commented back, and some of them have even reached out in regards to wanting to work in some capacity or repost your video. And so this has all been happening, and it got me thinking, because I saw a friend of mine recently removed all his posts from Instagram. I looked at a post that he had, not a post, but a link he had put in his bio. And the link was a PDF file which showed various accomplishments that he's had. And some of them were hyperlinked to show links of success that he's had in music marketing and different things like that. But I was just thinking, this idea that you are going to somehow, the old way of thinking, right, is that we need to convince people of our value by having a resume, by having a piece of written paper that shows everything that we've done, and now we are telling the person why we should be hired, why we are valuable, what we can bring to the table. it's almost as if we are selling ourselves and saying, hey, please, look at this, look what I can do, right? That's the energy there. Whereas we're living in this age now, and this is what Dan Coe talks about. And so I'm bringing this full circle. So Dan Coe talks about how we are living in an era of digital presence, and your presence online, your digital presence is now your resume. That is your resume. And it's evident in the fact that my partner is having almost an ability to write her own check, negotiate on her pay and all these things, because not only did she have the skills when she went in there, she was able to kind of blow them away with her ability to cook different things. She had a dessert, she made a salad, not a salad, it was a sweet potato puree. And she actually got that skill and added that ability, that particular recipe to her repertoire, because we had made some content making seared ahi tuna with a sweet potato puree. And so what I'm saying here is that if you are pursuing whatever goal that you're pursuing, people don't want to work with a piece of paper anymore. They want to see that you have consistency, that you have drive, you have the ability to adapt to this new climate that we're in, and things are changing very fast. So you have to stay up to date with how the world is going now. This is the direction that we're going in. Become the top of the food chain within the new digital world. And this reminds me of another book that I read, and I may have even done a video on this over the past year, because it's also is completely in alignment with this, and that is called Show Your Work by Austin Kleon. He talks about how he started writing a blog and he was literally just putting his thoughts out on this blog. And now you have Twitter, so anybody can do this. It's very easy. It's becoming easier and easier every day to pick up the camera, what have you, and ideate and put your thoughts out into the world. And he was showing his work. And he talks about that principle in the book, and how whatever you're working on, you should be sharing it. If you're writing a book, write a blog about the efforts and the trials and tribulations of getting yourself to write a book. That's actually how this guy that created monk mode, that's how this term monk mode became popularized. The video that I just released a little bit ago was because this guy, George McKeown, developed this habit where he was locking himself away for a certain amount of time during the day. And it took off, and it's got a life of its own now. Everybody's doing monk mode now. A lot of these creators are posting about it, and so did Dan Coe. So let's use an example. So let's say that you want to make a podcast, or that you've been in marketing and been in sales, right? And you're talking about you have the skills of how to write an effective email pitch. Well, then you can create your own videos, your own podcast discussing these topics, or copywriting, whatever it is. You could create an online course. You could create an ebook about it. You could create a service-based freelancing where you now pitch clients pitch a service to clients. So whatever it might be, say it could be music marketing, say it could be anything. It could be a pest control. It could be solar. It could be, you're gathering leads and you're generating leads and directing them through this funnel. And if you have a brand, like if you are putting yourself out there, it's going to have a compounding effect now. And that's what Dan Coe talks about, is that when you put yourself out there, when you show your work, when you do what it is that you claim to do and are putting it out into the world online where it is viewable by everybody, people are going to start following you. They're going to start valuing what it is that you have to say, and they are going to, you could maybe even be only 1 or 2 steps ahead of somebody else, and you don't have to be a complete expert. They can still follow along your journey as you refine and as you progress. And in a way, that's kind of what I've been doing with this YouTube channel. And I'm not saying that you have to make a YouTube channel, but I am saying that this whole idea of showing your work and having your digital presence, because nowadays people think about personal brand, and when it comes up, it's, oh, well, I don't know if I want to have a personal brand. I don't know if I want to be out there like that and putting myself out there like that. Well, the times have changed, and now whether you like it or not, whether you're aware of it or not, you do have a personal brand. So the wise decision at this point in time would be to carefully curate it and decide what that brand is. If you have a Facebook account, if you have a LinkedIn account, any of these things, they all link back to you, and they all are an avatar, a digital avatar, a representation of who you are in real life. And this is the way that people are looking at people now. Like I said, it's like a resume. That is the way it is being viewed. And so somebody that has this resume online, whether it be their Twitter account, it could be any of these accounts, right? This person is now getting precedence in the workplace, in relationships, with dating, because of your profile, because of what it is that you have put out online in your digital presence. So to bring this back around and focus in here, think about this. If I am a potential customer and I need marketing for my service or for my product, who am I going to trust more? Somebody who has sent me their email, or somebody that I find on Indeed that says, oh, this is what I've done, and it's written on a piece of paper or a PDF, or somebody who actually has a following that is showing by virtue of them doing all of these different things, and they're showing that they are passionate, they're showing that they do have drive and initiative, and they're building their credibility online by engaging, by having other people follow them, by having other people write in their comments, oh, this worked for me. Thank you so much for putting in that note for, how to construct a proper email that gets a reply. And it could be anything, I'm just using examples. But who am I more likely to trust? I'm more likely to trust that person that I see that they are putting the work in. They are representing themselves online in a way where I'm very clear on what they do. I'm very clear on the skills that they possess. And there's nothing that they have to show or convince me, because I'm now getting drawn into this person and seeing the quality of their work and the results that they're able to generate. So anyways, I wanted to bring this up because I think it is a very timely that now, we're at the sort of the beginning of the year here. It's like the beginning of February, and we really have an opportunity to, in a sense, do what Dan Coe says. And he kind of flips this whole thing on its head, because all these creators and all these people online always say you have to find your niche. But he says that your niche is actually you. And he says it doesn't make sense that you follow a bunch of people that have various interests the same way that you do, right? So you could follow somebody in fitness, but that person may also have business advice, and you're interested in all these different topics. He says if you are interested in these topics, you should be selling to yourself. And we're using the word selling, which is kind of salesy or kind of technical, but you should be providing content that is helpful to yourself. Be creating and posting the type of thing that you wish that you had years ago. If you can be the type of creator, the type of person that is posting things online that you would have loved to consume, you're going to have an audience for that, and you're going to find success. But and then again, everything is going to be unique to you. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to create the most original brand new thing. In fact, everything has already been done to a certain extent under the sun. So just by virtue of you assimilating ideas that you've already consumed, that you've already heard, and then saying it through your own words and in your own voice. And that's what Dan Coe's done. That's why I'm bringing him up. He has a really nice way of assimilating all these ideas in a way that he's combining spirituality. He's combining, like I said, self-help and all kinds of like success-minded people, but also quotes from some of the greatest minds in history. And he's presenting it in a way where it's very easily digestible, and it's very easy to understand. He's using simple language to express ideas and bring ideas together in a new way. And it's very inspiring to watch. So if you want to start a podcast, if you want to start a YouTube channel, well, just do it. This is how easy it is now. Turn on the camera and start having conversations. And I'm reading off my notes here because I took some notes. I want to make sure that I hit every point here. As you're starting to figure out what works well and what doesn't, that's what entrepreneurship is. And that's a big differentiating factor from people that have success in any type of business is, do you have the staying power? Do you have the persistence? Because whether it is that you're posting on YouTube, that you're posting on Instagram, when I started posting reels, I had people unfollow me from posting reels. And you have to just be consistent. You have to show up for yourself. And there's a great book called Go for No. And it talks about how this guy that was in sales, and he's the author, he had somebody come in one day, and it was a customer. He was working in retail sales, right? And the customer was buying thousands and thousands of dollars worth of clothes. It's the biggest customer that he's ever had in his life up until this point. And he felt like on top of the moon at the time. This was back in the 70s or 80s, I believe, where thousands of dollars would have been like tens of thousands now. And he was just overjoyed at this success that he had in this sale. So he goes up to the manager after all this is done, and he's like, yeah, like talking to him about it. And the manager's like, yeah, that was a pretty good sale, kid. And he's like, let me ask you a question though. He says, yeah. He says, so what did the customer say no to? And so this guy, he thinks about it for a while. He's really jogging his memory, and he's like, I can't think of anything. He didn't say no to anything. And so the manager says, well, then how did you know that the sale was done? And this made such an impact on this guy that he began to keep track not of his successes and not of hitting his sales quota, but he began to keep track of how many no's he was getting. And he began to have a quota of no's, a quota of rejections. And by doing this, he actually generated way more sales than he ever did before. And it just goes to show you that if you have a goal of how many yeses that you want, and you're measuring your successes only by the yeses that you're getting, once you hit, let's say that number is 10, 20, 50, whatever it is, you're complacent, you're good. You're just gonna chill then. But if you have a goal to say, I wanna hit 500 no's or 1,000 no's, you're gonna keep going until you hit that. And you're gonna way surpass the amount of yeses that you would have written otherwise. And this ability, because anybody that's achieved success, they've had way more failures than anybody that hasn't. And so we're taught in school, we're taught in growing up that, failure is bad and you don't want to get an F on your test. But in all reality, in the real world, the people that achieve monumentous things, the people that achieve greatness are the ones that fail the most. Remember that failing is really just improving. And there's a shift that you can take. There's a mental shift that you can take when it comes to this idea of failure or rejection or getting a no. So flipping it on its head can really be life-changing. Now, when you show up to yourself and you're able to learn what failures you're going to encounter, that's how you learn how to win. Through failure, through learning what not to do, through trials and errors. So to wrap this video up, without it becoming too long, it's so easy in this day and age now to have a digital presence. All you do is literally turn on your phone. We all have phones, and if you're watching this right now, you more than likely are watching this on your phone. So when you have an idea, have a thought, something that you read triggers a new idea and you think it's dope, turn on your phone and record yourself. This will also improve your ability to communicate because you are seeing yourself as others see you, watching yourself, how you look and sound, and refining your ability to communicate what it is that you want to communicate. Not only are you gaining viewership from your work, but these people can then share and follow with their followers, and developing your digital presence then has a compounding effect that draws people to you, rather than having to convince people of your abilities in the more traditional sense of a resume. So people see your abilities firsthand. As I mentioned with my partner, Devin, they're able to watch her and the amazing things that she's able to cook up. And they see the calories to protein ratio, the breakdown of the macros, and they're just blown away because they're like, are you able to make this taste good, look so good, and be healthy? And so what you're doing is you're now showing rather than telling. Rather than her going up to somebody and saying, hey, I know how to make macro-friendly meals. I can make you a cheesecake that has this much calories, this many protein. Well, showing is far more effective than telling, and that's what you're doing. People don't want a piece of paper. We're in a digital age, and now your resume is online. Her Instagram is her resume. It's showing your motivation, your consistency, your drive, especially if you want to do entrepreneurship or freelancing. You must have a digital presence. It's essential because that way, the way that the world is going, you don't see entrepreneurs on the street passing out flyers anymore. maybe occasionally, but networking is now done on the internet. Communication is now done on the internet. That is the number one way that people communicate. And with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope that this helps, provides you some motivation or inspiration into what direction you want to go this year, what your goals are, and how you can get to them faster by taking what we're learning here, what we're talking about, and building up, productizing yourself and building up your digital presence. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. Like I said, hit this with a like if you found it valuable. Drop me a comment. Let me know what you think. Hit me with a subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys next time.